My wife passed away when my sons were 8 and 4, respectively. Since then, I remarried, and my new wife and I have been married for some 11 years now. She herself was married before and had a daughter of her own from her own past marriage. Her ex-husband's story is its own saga, but suffice to say he's alive but isn't in their life anymore. When we married, my bio children were 13, son, and 9, son, and my stepdaughter was 12, stepdaughter. For 11 years, I tried to make some bridges. I would get her gifts and try to make sure she always got what she wanted. I did everything I could to make her happy. I would drive her to school, be at her extracurriculars. I paid for the nicest private schools for her. I could not to mention I worked day and night so I could give her the lifestyle she deserved. My wife is a housewife, a choice she made after she voluntarily quit her job in marketing. I tried my best and treated her just like my sons, but she continued to hate me. This came to a head specifically when my stepdaughter graduated about 5 years ago. While my eldest son had invited my wife, his stepmom, to his graduation, my stepdaughter refused to invite me. She had 2 tickets, but she only invited her mother. Her grandparents refused as they live in my wife's native country. When I asked why, she said, "You're not my dad, you didn't raise me, and I don't want you in my life." I was heartbroken. I tried very hard for her to like me, but she hated me. Still, I paid for her college. I paid for both of my sons' colleges as well. Nevertheless, a few months back, she informed my wife that she will be getting married. I only found out when my wife told me. The last thing I had asked was maybe the honor to have a father-daughter dance with her, which she had shot down. I said nothing, but then came the bill, and my wife said she needed some money for her wedding. I considered it long and hard, but clearly as she didn't consider me as her father, I said I would not be paying for her wedding. I told my wife that she had money saved up. It was her choice to use that if she wanted, but I would not be paying for her wedding. She was furious at me. She said she barely had any money saved up and I was being an awful person. I have received calls from all of my wife's family telling me that I should pay, mainly her immediate family like my father-in-law and my brother-in-law. The whole thing has become a mess. It has divided our family, but I am still holding my ground. Am I the whole first edit? I want to be clear, I will absolutely be paying for my son's wedding when it comes. Second edit, I want to also clarify that this is going to be far from a minor financial inconvenience. While I am sufficiently wealthy, it is still not something that will not go easy on my bank account. My wife's family is Indian, her ex-husband was Indian, and my stepdaughter is Indian. Her wedding is going to have probably around 400-600 people. Third edit. My wife has been an amazing mother to both our boys and our girl. She is a loving and doting wife who runs a phenomenal house. She tried to get her daughter close to me as well. To little consequence. I also do not think that I could be where I am without her. And certainly before her, I was nowhere close to where I am in my success. It is also true that my money has always been our money, and she does most of the accounting for the house anyway. If I do this, I would be doing this for her, not my daughter. Moreover, if she really wanted to, she could do it without my approval. More than half the money is in bank accounts with her name on them. Long story involving bad business decisions early in my life, which gave me bad credit. If she wanted to, she could, she never has, and I do not think she will. If she does, that will be her choice, and even if she told me she was going to, I do not think I will stop her fourth edit. Some of you have texted me questions about my life. Yes, I do have one son with my wife. My wife had her daughter when she was quite young, 19, and we had a baby boy. It was not planned, and he is 3 now. After my daughter graduated, I wished to keep parts of my life hidden because they were not important to this story. But some of you have mentioned that this may be important to the story as it may have impacted my relationship with my daughter. I assure you, she was just as cold with me before the baby, and the event at her graduation happened before my daughter knew about the pregnancy. In the comments, somebody asked, "What does your wife want to do?" It's her decision, and money as well. You need to come to an agreement. Original poster replied, "My wife says, after she is married, she is no longer her or my responsibility. Traditionally in Indian culture, after a daughter is married, she becomes the responsibility of the husband's family. Or so my wife told me. So she is saying that to save face, just do this one Last thing, and then it's over. Comments about the wife allowing her daughter to act like this and not encouraging her to work on their relationship. Original poster replied, "She has tried, and I think this is a very Western way of looking at this issue without cultural nuance. We don't experience the same societal pressures as Indian people in general, but Indian women specifically do in this context. The more I talk to some Indian Redditors, it is becoming apparent to me that I should do this for my wife. My wife actively encourages my stepdaughter to engage with me, but it is all to no avail. Somebody said, how about a compromise?" Original poster replied, "I think what I am leaning towards and going to go for is a requirement before the check. I think what I'll do is, this I'll say, you have to go to 10 counseling sessions with me, and only after each counseling session will I give you a check. That way we can move towards progress, and if 10 counseling sessions are not enough to even get the ball rolling, then it wasn't meant to be," someone asked. Maybe a request. Maybe I can get her fiancé to agree with me and maybe just to help her towards counseling. I just want to mention that giving an ultimatum, forcing someone into counseling, will almost always give you an outcome you did not want. People have to want to work on things. Therapy will only help if she actively listens, participates in it, and puts in the effort to change things. As of right now, it sounds like she has no interest in a relationship with you. I obviously don't know her as a person, but there is also the risk of her pretending to care for those 10 sessions just to get your money. And then she could just go back to her usual ways. After original poster replied, "So what do I do here? Any suggestions that mitigate the most harm, I say don't pay for her wedding." She wanted to set the boundary of saying you're not her father or caretaker, so you respect the boundary by not doing what a father would do, which is pay for her wedding. I do understand that you are torn due to your love for your wife and wanting to honor her culture. However, it is not your culture, and in my opinion, culture doesn't ever overrule someone's poor treatment. She was very hurtful to you, and she should see the consequences of her actions. If your wife loves you, she will understand culture doesn't magically make respect and kindness to others disappear, and she sounds lovely. So I am hopeful she would agree at the end of the day. Someone said there is a very long exchange about how the financial decisions are made between original poster, the wife. But I'm not including all of it because the commenter was being very argumentative. The gist is that they both have access to all funds. And while she handles all day-to-day purchases and payments, they make decisions together on larger purchases. The commenter then goes off about him deciding to pay for his son's wedding. Original poster replied, "It isn't about the money. Imagine the roles were switched and my son treated her that way and I still have given him $160,000. What would that do to her? That would be horrific to her. Of course, I could never just give him $160,000. I would need her permission." Update 2 days later. After reading some of your comments, a lot of thinking and a long conversation with my wife and I came to a decision. Firstly, my wife understands where I am coming from. In the original conversation with my wife, I put my foot down without properly explaining my reasoning behind that decision. I was just angry and I should have communicated better. After explaining, however, my wife sympathized with me and said she doesn't know what the right thing to do here is either, but she said she'll do whatever I think is right. After some talking and thinking, we came to the following conclusion. For what it's worth, we will give her $50,000. This is more than plenty for a great wedding. It's less than a third of the $160,000 she wanted from us. And 1 out of 4 of the estimated $200,000 her wedding was going to cost. Not to mention her fiancé's dad is himself giving her around $50,000. Between $40,000, $60,000. My wife also further informed our daughter that neither of us will be attending the wedding. This was a decision my wife made of her own volition. After informing her on the call, she came to our home to pick up the check. We told her that this would be the last money we would be giving her. She said that it was better we cut her out of our life anyway, as she didn't want me to ruin her new life. My wife and I were angry, but everyone held their tongue. She left and she will no longer be a part of our life.
I, 25, man, met my now ex-fiancé in my first year of college. We were both 18 and went from friends to lovers pretty quickly. We clicked so well and everything was so easy and effortless. We had a really good relationship. It's the kind of relationship that everyone wishes they were in. The kind of relationship that people idolized and said if those two broke up, then love doesn't exist. You get the picture. For the purpose of this post, let's call my ex Scarlett. Scarlett was everything I was looking for in a woman. Funny, smart, attractive, down-to-earth, and family-oriented. She wanted to build a life together. Our families got close over the course of our relationship. It was like we were already one big family before even getting married. As planned, I popped the question a year ago, not knowing that this would change everything. She said yes, of course, but things started to change. Slowly but surely, over the months, she became more distanced. I tried to ignore it and chalk it up to nervousness. You know, cold feet before taking the big marriage plunge. I should have trusted my instincts. She always went out with her group of friends on the weekends. I've been on these things before. Usually it's clubbing and drinking. It's not my scene, but I trusted my girl, so I had no problem with her going without me. These outings became much more frequent after I popped the question. I tried to ignore my gut feeling that something was wrong about this. I should have listened. Last week I got a text from one of her girlfriends. She said she feels super guilty about what's been going on. According to her, Scarlett has been worried about getting married. She feels that she hasn't had a chance to explore other options, and the prospect of getting locked down for life made her really anxious. On these outings, she will frequently flirt with guys, dance with them, grind on them, make out with them, to get it out of her system. Since she wasn't making love with them, she didn't consider it cheating. According to the friend, she also gave one guy a fellatio in the club bathroom. She sent me pictures and videos from some of those escapades. My heart sank. I felt like I died that day. I thanked the friend for telling me and told her to keep it between us. For me, any form of cheating is a big no-no. I knew it was over. What makes this worse is that I have a past with cheating. She knows about my high school ex who cheated on me, and being a stupid teenager, I tried to end it all. This just makes this whole situation cut even deeper. She knows how much hurt she could cause and still went ahead with it. I wanted to crawl into bed and cry for a month. I wanted to be weak. I felt weak. I decided I would give myself the chance to mourn and cry over this after I protect myself. Me and my fiancé share an apartment that we both pay rent for 50-50. I decided to take 2 days off work and covertly started to move my things out to my brother's house across the city. He knew about everything and immediately offered his place to me. The first day I moved non-essential items out. When Scarlett got back from work, she made a comment about it, but I brushed it off by saying I sold some stuff and took some more stuff to a storage unit to tidy and clear space up in our apartment. She didn't question it. I was furious on the inside about everything that I found out about, but kept cool to avoid suspicion. She noticed I was a bit withdrawn, but I told her I was just tired and stressed from work. The second day, while she was at work, my brother and his wife came over to help me pack everything else, and I was fully moved out by 3 p.m. that day. Since then, I have avoided every single form of communication sent by my ex. I have completely cut her off. I refuse to talk to her or her family. I don't even want to confront her about what happened. She came home that day and saw everything was gone. She texted all my friends and family, who in turn texted me, but I only responded to my parents, who are fully behind me and my decision. Her family and friends are blowing up my phone and saying that I'm an a-hole for leaving without a word. They've even been blasting me on social media. I don't really care. She knows what she did. To me, she is dead. She doesn't exist. Because of all this backlash, my brother and his wife are now also questioning if it was right of me to completely ignore everyone. This has caused me to doubt myself a bit, so here I am. Update: an overwhelming amount of people have convinced me to reach out to her parents and give them an explanation to clear my name. I will update when I get a chance tomorrow. After an overwhelming amount of people screamed at me in the comments to speak out, I decided to break my silence. I didn't want to make this whole thing public. Despite what she did, some part of me still cares for her. I was with her for 6 years. You can't just throw that away overnight. I came to the conclusion that the right thing to do was to talk to her parents. Only her family needed to know. Everyone else can have whatever opinion they want of me. I don't care. The people who truly know me and are close to me are the only ones I care about. I sent a detailed message of what happened to my closest friends and family. All of them, of course, believed me right away. No pictures needed. I didn't feel like it was necessary or appropriate to spread those pictures of her, so I didn't. Now that the people I cared about were sorted, I moved on to her parents. I messaged her mom, who, by the way, I had gotten so close to. I considered her a second mom, and she considered me a son. She was very upset with me, but agreed to meet up. I felt like this needed to be an in-person conversation rather than a nuke I drop in an email with everyone they know carbon copied. I met her mom and her dad at a diner we used to frequent for breakfast. I know, so cliché. It was quite emotional. They were understandably upset. They didn't do anything wrong, and I cut them out of my life like nothing happened. I understood why they were upset, so when they were confronting me, I was very quiet, just listening. Letting them get it all out. I admit I was tearing up with them. That is until they accused me of some things. It's been a whole week since all of this went down. In that week, a lot happened. Apparently, according to her parents, my ex convinced everyone that I cheated and that she kicked me out, and I haven't been answering anyone because I was so ashamed of what I had done. I literally laughed out loud. I responded by saying that I am sorry and I wished them a happy life, and walked out. I was so damn upset I couldn't even have imagined being accused of this. What a damn joke. I can't believe her parents would believe her and throw me under the bus so fast. I walked out because I'm pretty sure I would have said some things I'd regret to her parents. I didn't want to do this, but she left me no choice. I activated the nuclear option. I went home, made an email titled, "For your reading pleasure," and attached every picture her friend sent me, including screenshots of the chat with her friend where she expressed how guilty she felt about the cheating. I also attached the videos of her grinding and making out with other guys. I included a long explanation detailing everything that has happened since D-Day. I ended the email by saying that I do not wish to be contacted and that I expect my ring back at some point. I attacked her, her parents, any friend I could think of, and a coworker that I just so happened to know as well. Damn it. So that's where I'm at now. I may be the asshole for sending that email, but she really tested my damn limits when I found out what she was telling people. I have zero regrets. Currently crashing at my brother's place on the pull-out couch. He's helping me get through this, as much as one can, I guess. Who knows what kind of fallout that email will create. Either way, I'm gonna sit back and enjoy it with popcorn while sobbing. Final update. I wanted to take a quick moment to thank everyone that reached out to me and offered kind words of support and advice. The reason it took me 2 months to be able to come back here and write an update is because so much has happened in such a short span of time that even I'm having trouble processing it. The fallout after I sent that nuke of an email was catastrophically hilarious. My phone was blowing up with my ex's friends and family asking me tons of questions. Before I had sent that email, everyone was under the impression that I was a cheater and was kicked out. That email not only cleared my name, it basically turned everyone against my ex. Rumors of what had happened started circulating at her job. I attached one of her coworkers to the email, if you remember from my last update. Apparently, she couldn't take the embarrassment and ended up quitting. Her parents were less than impressed and refused to take her back in. They reached out to me and apologized for the way things went down. They recognized that they didn't have all the facts and judged me too quickly. I'm cool with them now. They told me that my ex was struggling to make payments for her half of the rent. When I covertly moved out, I contacted our landlord and explained the situation. We only had 3 months left on the lease, so I paid my half for those 3 months, so I'm in the clear. Honestly, it was worth it even though I'm not living there. Our mutual friends also didn't take too kindly to being lied to and basically being manipulated to hate me. From what I've heard, most of our shared friends don't talk to her anymore. Even some of her girlfriends who knew what had been happening behind my back stopped talking to her. Which is a little ironic if you ask me. I guess now that everything was public, no one wanted to be associated with her. And speaking of her friends, remember the one that initially came forward to me about this because she felt so bad? Yeah, so we're dating now. I guess through all the trauma, drama, and craziness, we started texting more and more. At first, she was just very supportive. She comforted me and helped me come to terms with what happened. But slowly and surely, we became closer and closer and started to talk about our lives, our interests, our dreams. We realized we had a lot in common. We are also both single and young. We kind of just fell right into it, naturally. She's honestly so great, very kind, and loving. I am aware that some people may think this is just a rebound, but I'm really enjoying my time with her, and things are going great. I feel great. Since everything went down, I have had no contact with my ex. I've heard through multiple friends that she is livid that I ghosted her and won't even talk to her. She says what I'm doing to her is torture because I won't even give our relationship closure. I just laughed because if she thinks what I'm doing is torture, then she's clueless about what she put me through. I'm honestly good. I will go the rest of my life without ever talking to her again. Call me petty. Call me dumb. I am who I am and I feel this is right. As for me, life is looking good. I'm dating an amazing girl. I've gotten so much support from my family and friends. It's nice to see who the real ones are. You know, the ones that actually stuck with me throughout this whole ordeal. And best of all, I feel like I'm really moving on from this whole thing. Hope this update gives you all closure. So many of you messaged me, needing an update. It just took me a sec to gather myself to be able to write this in the midst of all this craziness. Take care of yourselves.